I have a sweet project for all you guys wanting to get an axe on a budget. This is for you. So, probably about a year ago now, I found this big red jersey pattern, unbranded, but I think that's a jersey pattern felling axe at a flea market for $5. Teased it at the end of another video, but since then I've hit it with the old Evaporust, cleaned all the rust off, and that's what we've got. A really nice, still really good shape axe for probably being 40 or 50 years old. I say that, I have no idea how to actually date stuff like this, but there you go. And then that just kind of sat around for a while. A couple of months ago, I found a yard sale handle for it. Now this handle was $3 from a nice gentleman who was cleaning out his garage. This was actually not for sale when I originally saw it. There was a nice woodworking bench there, and my brothers being actual proper woodworkers as compared to me, a redneck with a Mora knife, I got to talking about him, was looking at it, and he said, "Oh, nothing at that point, at that section of the garage is for sale." But about then, I noticed this sitting on the wall, and I was like, "Well, you say that. I see that old axe handle over there. What do you want for that?" He said, I'll take $3 for it." And I was like, "Deal." For $3, it's not. If you bought this from a store, it wouldn't be fantastic. The grain got some knots. I don't think the grain is fantastic. It's okay. That's nothing to write home about. But at a yard sale for $3, yeah, I'll buy that any day. But as I was paying for it, dude's wife came up and was like, "But that's the axe handle you kept in your truck for protection. What are you going to use now?" And the gentleman said, "Oh, I've upgraded." And you know, this was a gentleman from up north, moved down south. And of course, I assumed when he said, "Oh, I've upgraded," he, bought a gun or something. You can, do that down here still. But then he proceeded to go on and said, "Oh yeah, I've got this new red axe handle I've got in there now for my new red truck." Some people don't use this for protection. Put an axe on this. If you're worried about protection, you know what to get. YouTube might not like me saying that, but we'll work around it. Anyway, $3 handle, $5 head. We need just a little bit of working up, but you can see they're about perfect for each other. Only thing I worry about is the chip on the tip there, but I think that will be below where we seat the head. So before we go and start trying to fit this to this, I'm going to strip the coating off of this, which will only take me a second. You've seen me do that. There's nothing to it. You take your knife, run it across there until the smooth stuff's gone. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then we'll start working on fitting that to it. So, got it stripped down. There's one, that knot right there is a pain in the rear end. Doesn't feel very nice, but it was $3. I'm going to roll with it. And now I'm working on getting it fitted up. I've already put her on there a couple of times, and we got a little bit of tear out there. But other than that, we're just going to slowly start fitting it. And all I'm doing is, as I'm pulling it off, coming back through, scraping material. It's hard to see where that material needs to go through the camera, but I looked at it earlier, so I know pretty well where I'm needing to run the knife and move wood. And you can see I've already been hitting it with the 4-in-hand some. Double check where I'm... Okay. And then basically doing the same thing over here. It doesn't have to be with the knife. Like I said, I was using the 4-in-hand, especially back here. But now I'm going to take the knife and work on getting some more of that stuff out of there. And you probably just missed a bunch of that, but that's alright. We're just going to roll with it. Take that. Over here. And we're pretty good. Keeps wanting to tear it out through there. So I think what I'm going to do Yeah, let's focus my attention right in here for a little bit. And in the back. I'm going to try and work off some material in there. Did a little bit of tapping on it with a wooden mallet earlier. And it's basically the same thing. So I'm going to just take the 4 in hand for the back here. Let's use the rasp. My brothers took the wood vise outside onto a different workbench. Well, onto the same workbench. Rather, they took that whole workbench outside, so I'm having to freehand all this, but whatever, we ball. Just roll with it. Alright, leave that for now and come over here. Just a lot of slow going, getting these axe heads whittled out. I could do like old Buck and Billy Ray and take a palm sander to it, but those cost money, and I ain't got one. So I'm just here whittling it out, bit by bit. It's almost there, not quite. And I managed to cut myself, so it really is. It's not a project of mine until I bleed everywhere. At least that's my luck. Well, alright, I'll keep at it and update you in a minute. We're nearly there. I would say we're in the last bits here. So what I'm going to do, knock this head off, get that a little bit better, clean up a little bit back there, do some just general cleaning on it, and then we will get started doing a wedge. I don't have a vise to put this in. My brothers took it outside, and I'm too lazy to go outside, not to mention the fact that there's possibly tornadoes on the way. That's why you have your workshop in the basement. So yeah, I am out of luck with that. So I'm going to have to do the wedge by hand. So that'll be fun. Get back to you in a minute. I completely forgot to film how to do wedges. Basically, all I did was take this anvil piece. This is one of my brother's knives. I've got my Greenmore, and that's it. That's one of his. Take an anvil piece. I think specifically this piece. That doesn't matter. Took the piece I was going to make my wedge from and just did push cuts down with my Mora. Doing one long, shortening it, and then just keep going shorter and shorter, so I would get a taper on one end, flipped it over, did the same thing. Pretty easy. It didn't come out looking good, but an axe wedge doesn't need to look 100%. It's a piece that goes in the handle. You want form over function. If you see the wedge, you've messed something up, because that means the handle's off of it. So don't worry about how pretty it looks. Worry about just getting the taper, making that wedge shape, and getting it in there and getting it tight. That is what we're going to call good enough. Some people might want to refine it more and do nicer stuff to it, but we're going to do the right thing and just send it. So I'm going to chop it off probably about here. That way we've got a lot of meat, and then we will start getting it finished up. So here we are at the end. Things are fairly simple right now, though. You just get your head on there nice, get it a little snug up. Then where did I set the hammer? Here we go. First things first, get it hung. Yeah, it's pretty good. I might give it a few more whacks. You'll have to pardon me, it's a pain in the rear end trying to both film this and hammer at the same time. Get you down here so you can... Oh, Lord willing, it will be a long time before I have to do this again, so make sure you get her on there tight. That looks pretty good. That roll out there means it's working. At least that's what I tell myself. Now, I'm just going to shake the camera a bit here. Time for the wedge. You just get that down in there if it'll go. It's a little tight. Alright. Let's see here. I may have to give her just a little love tap to get in. Bear with me for a second. There you are. A couple gentle taps with your persuader to get her in there. So now, what we got to do is get that the rest of the way in there. For that, best thing I've seen to do is get a scrap piece of wood, like... So the using a block of wood to cushion the blows on this is, A, probably not intended for use with a wooden mallet, and B, intended for people who actually have a vise. And if you have not caught it yet, I don't have a vise right now. So we're just going to do the responsible thing and just take the persuader here and just... knock her off kilter a little bit, just love taps. That's all we're doing. I'll fix that later. Let me see here. Looking good, looking good. Let me just adjust it for a second here. Adjusted. Let's go again. I think that's about as far as she's going to go. Doing some quick adjustments here. Yep, that's it. She's done. And there we go. That is incredibly janky, but that's this whole axe shtick, so we're going to roll with it. On to what'll probably be the most aggravating part. Stay with me here. So in another spectacular instance, of me getting ahead of my ability to turn a camera on, I got it cut off, roughly, ugly. We're going to make it work. Now we're just going to take a 4 in hand and my knife and clean this up, make it look real nice and pretty. Do the final fit up, or not fit up, finishing on the handle. Then we'll be on to the last of the wood stuff, which is, well, that's a surprise. We'll get to that in a minute. Before I get to cleaning up, just look how solidly that is together. Holy moly. Also, don't worry so much about the gaps, especially on the top side. It's the bottom part of the eye where you really want that fit, and well, you can see how it fits up there. So don't sweat up here much. It's all about inside down here. Yeah, I figured I'd show you guys that before I get into it, because can't film and whittle at the same time, really. So all I'm doing now is gently taking my knife and ever so slightly working out any imperfections I feel. And I think I've just about got it. Oh, there's a couple down here. And I'm not taking off much at all doing this. I'm just letting that edge catch the high spots and smooth them down. Now typically I do this up closer to me, but I'm having to do a incredibly awkward camera angle to at least get a little bit of footage of this. So yeah, I think I'm going to kill it now and do it the way I was doing, but I figured I'd at least give y'all a teaser of it. So what I have here is paste wax. This is 3 parts pure linseed oil to 1 part beeswax. And this is pretty well what axe wax, which you guys know I love, is. And so I figured I'd try to make some of this. For the price you get a thing of axe wax, you can get 3 pounds of beeswax pellets and a quart of linseed oil. So yeah, your money's going a little bit further if this works well. This is the first time trying it since I made it, and we're going to try it on this axe handle. So bear with me here as I open it up. Not the first time I've opened it, but this will be the first time sinking the fingers into it. So let's see here. Okay, a little bit harder than I was. Oh, not really that hard at all, actually. Just kind of stiff up top. So take that, and you take the axe handle here, and you just, like you would, I just sent a bunch of that flying in the floor. Alright, you just do like you would regular old axe wax. And this stuff is food safe, just like axe wax. Since this is pure linseed oil, it'll probably take a little longer to dry. But, yeah, it's basically the same thing for cheaper. Maybe doesn't, it's not quite the right consistency as axe wax, but that's alright. And I will probably have to do 3 or 4 good coats of this. But you just take it, you just rub it in there real good, and you get more as you need it. Flip her around here. There we go. You just get her in there. Make sure you get it good and into the wood grain down at the base here. Probably should have washed my hands before getting all this on it, because goodness knows I'm probably getting metal shavings and Lord knows what else down into this handle, but that's part of it. So you just sit here and massage it in for a while. So regular axe wax hardens up pretty fast, like 10 minutes. You leave it for 10 minutes and it gets a hard coat. This is gonna be more time. I can't think of the word. It's gonna take more time because I think this is gonna have to dry like actual linseed oil. And like I said, I'll probably have to do 2 or 3 coats. But it's also considerably cheaper. So I'm gonna turn this off so you aren't just watching me oil up this shaft here. And I'll catch you, I don't know, it may be a while. I may just have to let this sit and dry for a good while. We'll see. So that'll about do her. I'm not going to show sharpening and repeatedly just oiling up this shaft on video. That gets tedious, and the second one, we're just not even going to talk about that. Anyway, yeah. Ignoring the paste wax and the Mora and the 4-in-hand, which I already had, will have going into the foreseeable future, and so you can't really count that in the cost. This really only cost me about $8. $5 for the head, $3 for this shaft. So yeah, the $8 yard sale felling axe. This just goes to show, if you play your cards right and wait and go to these secondary market, flea market, yard sales, you can get good gear cheap. This will last me a heck of a long time. I'm not felling trees every day, but then again, just as a good woods axe, this will do a pretty good job. So yeah, I'll just get a little bit more glamour shots for you. Turned out pretty good. I might do sharpening this as a short, just to play around with it a little bit, and then I'm just going to do the whole keep that oiled every day for a week for, or once a week for a month, once a month for a year, but frankly I'll probably forget that, so we'll just roll with it. Everybody says that. Oh, your ancestors could do it. You can too, buddy. I'm going to tell you right now, my papa has never done that. Oh, and my other grandfather certainly never did it. So just roll with it. Try your best. Oil it when you can think on it. Don't worry too much about it. Make sure you do soak this as best you can, though. This getting swole up with oil is nothing but a good thing. So oil it up. But I think that'll do it for this project. At least for the hard parts of it. Took me a couple of days. Took a lot of whittling, but here we are. So thank you guys for watching. If you got any comments, critiques, obscenities you want to yell at me, leave them in the comments. And I will see you later. Gingy out.